Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Scrambled Jake's Breakfast Company. Unique recipes and menu items, farm fresh ingredients, everything you could want to make your breakfast, brunch, or lunch your favorite meal of the day. So skip the chain coffee places in the morning. Head to the local meeting place. Take your office down there. Take your buddies down there. Scrambled Jake's Breakfast Company in West Knoxville, right at Rocky Hill. Great place to go, great place to eat. You're going to love it. Fantastic kind of ambiance in the place as well. Wow, I used ambiance and umbrage in the same show. That's pretty good. All right, let's take a look at the SEC standings. Here's where you are after yesterday. Mark referenced it. You had a chance to be tied for second place with Kentucky, just one game back from Auburn, with Auburn coming to town. You didn't get the win on the road at Arkansas, no surprise. But what that did was that dropped you to, I believe, the 4 seed as it stands today in the SEC tournament. Of course, that's still a double bye, and you're pretty much a lock for the double bye. You're 3 games up on it. Nobody else has been 3 games of 10-4 there. But it was a big loss in terms of the SEC title race. Mark, however, you put out a tweet this morning. I don't disagree with it, but I think a lot of people might. It said, it's okay, Vol fans, ask yourself, who won the SEC championship in 2018 or even last year? It's all about NCAA seeding. I'm a man who said for years that the regular season is pretty meaningless. It's all about what you do in March. That would seem, if you're saying that an SEC championship is not memorable, it would seem you agree that everything's about March, and that's all we all remember.
Well, from the fans' perspective, right? As a player and a coach, I mean, you want to win the SEC championship. It's something that you look back at. They have reunions about it and all that stuff, and so you're in the record books. But from a fan's perspective, fans don't remember who wins the SEC championship or who won the SEC tournament 3-4 years from now. They will remember, did your team make it to the Sweet 16? Did they make it to the Elite 8, Final 4? Did you live up to that expectation defined by how far did they go to the NCAA tournament? Nobody talks about, very few people talk about, is this team going to win the SEC regular championship? No, they say, is this an Elite 8 contender? Is it a Sweet 16 contender? And so that's why I think this is about seeding. If you're a 5 seed, if you lose, look, Missouri's not an easy game. Even Georgia's played again. If you lose a couple of these games, you're a 5 seed. You got 2 really tough games to get to the Sweet 16. NCAA is about seeding. Get a 3 seed, you play 1 tough game to get to the second weekend, which then just throw it up. Who knows what happens if you make shots.
Fair enough. It's going to be the Mark Pancratz segment here, this segment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the remaining schedules, if we can, for each of the 4 teams that are still out there competing for the SEC title. You got Auburn. They've got Ole Miss, then at Tennessee, at Mississippi State, South Carolina. Oh, why am I running through this? You're not going to win the title at this point. It would take a huge collapse from Auburn to lose 2 games and you get in there. But anyway, you see Tennessee at Missouri. Then they got Auburn, at Georgia and Arkansas. All right, you worked for Conzo Martin when he was here. You worked for Bruce Pearl when he was here. You played for Bruce Pearl when you were at Milwaukee. What do you expect? How are the matchups going to play out? Tennessee at Missouri, it could be a first team to 50 wins kind of game. And then Auburn comes here, where the crowd will be electric.
Yeah, I mean, don't sleep on Missouri. I mean, they're going to make it tough. They almost beat Auburn earlier this year. Their defense, as you know, is always solid. Interior presence. They've struggled to get talent there, and that's the reality of it. But this team, yes, we can talk about the perimeter shooting, but I really think to what Isaiah's saying, do we get baskets in transition? Do we get inside touches and score at the paint? Do we make our free throws? It's those little things. Our defense is going to keep us in that game. And then Auburn, super talented. I think this environment has allowed us to be incredible at home. But Auburn and Pearl and the adjustments that they've made at times have given Barnes and staff some trouble. I think this is a team that obviously we just beat a really good Kentucky team, but with Kessler and Wendell, I think that Auburn game is going to be a major challenge for Tennessee. And so if we can split, great. Auburn would of all the games in the schedule, let's face it, beating Auburn is more important right now than Kentucky. And I told my wife this yesterday watching the Florida game. I said, who would imagine when I was coaching that Florida beating Auburn would lead to the fans rushing the court? Yeah. That's amazing. Think about what Bruce has done down at Auburn, right? I mean, like Florida national champions when I was coaching over there, beating an Auburn, rushing the court. I mean, it's impressive.
All right, I tell you what, we'll get into Barnes versus Pearl in the next segment, but let me ask you, Isaiah, what's Tennessee's record this week?
Oh, man.
Because you were closer than the rest of us. You
Yeah.
said 7-3 or 8-2.
Yeah, I think
when we
I'm
asked for
tracking.
10 to go, and they're at 5-1 at this point.
Man, that's a tough one, man. I like us to beat Missouri for sure. Auburn, I like us to beat them.
Haven't lost at home all year.
Yeah. We're at home. We coming off a loss, so I think we get the energy back up, get the emotion back up. Win TBA. Yeah, we beat them.
Sunshine Isaiah says 2-0. Jimmy,
Oh, this week.
This week.
They're not going to beat Auburn.
1-1. Ryan,
I'm tempted to agree with Isaiah, but I'll say 1-1. I say Auburn wins a close one.
I would not be shocked if this team loses at Missouri and then beats Auburn here. The way Missouri plays defense, the way your shooting could go hot and cold, the way the crowd gets into it here and they play well at home, I would not be shocked if it's the opposite 1-1 of what we would expect from looking on paper. But okay, Mark, are you saying 1-1?
1-1.
All right, very good. Would Rick Barnes be viewed differently if Bruce Pearl weren't in the SEC? Let's take a look at some numbers that might surprise you. That's next on the Sports Source. Come on back.